Hey everyone, working with Google Sheets today, showing you how to create a scatter plot. Google Sheets calls it actually a scatter chart. It's the same difference, showing you how to highlight the data to pull into the chart, how to create the chart, how to format the chart so it looks like we want it to, and then also how to copy a chart and paste it into Google Slides, which is going to be part of the assignment that you'll be doing after you watch the video. So you'll know how to do that as well. So we're going to be working with heights and weights. The columns that I need are side by side. What I typically do just to make sure I'm highlighting columns is hold down my shift key, highlight the C, oops, that pulled all my data, I didn't want to do that. Highlight the C column first, sorry, and then hit the next column I want to highlight on the letters. So now I've highlighted my G and my H column, that's the data I want. There's one slide that you will be working with that's pulling data from two columns that are not side by side. So what you do in that instance is you're going to highlight the column that you need first as your X coordinate. So it would have jersey, let's say we're doing jersey numbers and weight. So I have my jersey number highlighted first, then you hold down the control key and select the weight. Now it's just pulling the data from those two columns. So that's the only data that's going to be in our chart. If we accidentally held down the shift key, I'll show you, it goes shift to weight. It pulls all the data in the middle. We don't want that as part of our chart. So we're just going to ignore that, and we're going to actually do the control key to do separate columns. You can do control with columns side by side as well, but sometimes it's just easy to do the shift as well. So there we're doing those two columns. So I have my data highlighted that I want to have in my chart. I'm now going to go up to Insert Chart. I know we'd worked with Insert Function before, but now we're going to do Insert Chart. If your Google is smart enough and Chrome has realized it, that we pulled data that could possibly fit into a scatter plot, it's going to suggest using a scatter plot for you, which mine did. If it doesn't, on the chart editor that pops up under chart type, if you hit the down arrow, you can scroll through and pick all the different potential options we could use for a chart. But like I say, we're doing scatter plot, so I want a scatter plot. So there's my chart. What you'll notice too down here on use row 1 as headers, I want to have that checked off. So that box filled in with a check mark, because what that's doing is that's giving us our X and Y axis labels, as well as filling in the title of our chart. So we know exactly what we're looking at in terms of what my comparison is going to be. The next thing I want to do is show you that, like we talked about the other day, on Tuesday, we have a lot of white space here that we don't really need in our scatter plot. So what we're going to do there to get rid of this is you go up to the chart editor again. We want to go to the Customize tab, so click on Customize. We have all the spaces on the Y-axis side of it because we pretty much filled in the whole X-axis with points. So it's the Y-axis we're trying to adjust. So we go down to the vertical axis label. We click on that. We scroll down to where there's a max and a min, a maximum and minimum value field. In the minimum value field, just put something under where like our first data point is, so everything's above 50. So I'm going to start at 50. Automatically adjust your spreadsheet or your chart. So now you see it's a bigger pool of data now. The data fills the chart better. There's a lot less white space than what was there before. So we're all good. We don't have to do anything else from that. We don't need to make any other changes. So what we're going to do is we're going to close our chart editor. So if we were working in Google Sheets, I'd want to move this chart so I can see all my data. But what we're doing is we're going to try to copy and paste this into our slide presentation. So to do that, you're going to highlight the chart, just click in the chart anywhere, and it'll end up with a blue box now around your chart. You're going to hit Control C. That's what you use, that's copying the chart now. So we've copied the chart. So again, we highlight it in blue, do Control C, it's copied. Now we come up to our new tab where the presentation is. This slide is going to look pretty much similar to what you're going to have in your assignment. So it has a box where we want to paste the chart. So we're going to kind of click in that box, or just click somewhere. And what's going to happen is you're going to hit Control V, and it's going to pop up with a paste chart dialog box. Whatever pops up here, we want it to link to spreadsheet. That's perfectly fine. So what that box will be, that button will be checked off. So then just click paste. It pastes the chart as a whole slide, which we don't want because we want to be able to see our description. So what you're then going to do is copy or grab one of the blue boxes in the corners of your slide. Don't do the sides because it kind of changes the scaling a little bit. If you do the corner, it drags both the vertical and the horizontal sides at the same time. So we're going to drag this down so that we can kind of fit it in our box. May take a little bit of kind of a dragging a little bit at a time. Move it around a little bit. So now I have my chart, kind of fits in the box, that's fine. If it goes over the box again as well, that's okay, so make it a little bit bigger. So that's my chart, everything's good here. So now part of your assignment is to take your chart and do an analysis and a description of what you see in the chart. So in the box there, you just kind of look and say, when we look at our analysis here, we see a very strong positive trend with our height. As the heights go up, the weights go up, which again is what we expected. Everything seems to be centered pretty closely around the middle of the blob there. We talked about on Tuesday that sometimes these data fields and the bubble, the scatter plots look like footballs, where this one kind of has a little bit of a football shape to it. So we can just start typing our description. The scatter plot has a strong positive association. Points are tightly grouped. With very little vertical spread between max and min values. Okay, so we have that there. What you might want to point out is we do have one or a couple of relatively high points. So there are high values. I don't really need to point them out because there are multiple values here we kind of look at. We get a bunch of points way up near the 100, so that makes sense that players would be shorter. Players might be taller than, probably a little more muscular than normal, so that's why they'd be up there. What you could also mention if you wanted to, that the heights and weights are in centimeters, are in the metric system, so we're not completely certain what the actual relationship is in terms of how tall people are and how much they weigh. But when we're just kind of looking at the data, that doesn't really matter. When we're just talking about heights and weights, we can do that. So you could add some a little bit more to your description. I'm going to leave it at that to cut the video a little bit shorter. But that's what you need to do. So just highlight the columns you need in our data fields, our data sheets, then do insert chart, create your chart as a scatter plot, format it so that there's as little white space as possible. So you might have to, you can even adjust the X and Y value, the X-axis if you needed to make it look a little bit better, but usually just adjusting the Y will kind of adjust, the X-axis will adjust itself in Google Sheets. It's pretty good that way. So if you have any questions on it, kind of drop me an email, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow.